Okay, so I understand that what we want to do. So the question is, where do we want to move forward in relation to scope agreement and changes?
Yes, there's two. There's we can keep the focus next is the event. I want to get the event. I want to do this event. But yes, I want to do the practice at the event. Next time I do the practice, I'll do the event. So that's the focus for this. But it should be more long term, maybe. I don't know. But that's my from my side, from Ambor, right? Ambor is part, but it's not in control anymore. So, but Ambor can three things, no? Event with a timeline of 1 month, and the budget.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
I already have the plan for detail, so I shouldn't be too complicated. Very good. Yes, very nice. But it's there. It's the event. So the event, we need the new budget. We need the what's really important. I don't know if maybe 1 month. We'll see. I mean, 1 month maybe depends. We need to do a new budget and the snippets, right? Snippets organized, and then the graphic, the not the advertisement or the I want to do something cool with the tokens, right? So this is not very nice here. Okay, so the point is this: that I wanted to do the following, right? So we have the snippets. There is three parts. So there is endeavor design arrangements. All the design, right? Design. This is the design. Okay, so here we have the second part is the intent intricacies delineation, which is the snippets, right? Okay. Then there is the apex clause artifacts. Yes. These are names you can review, but I
Time to pause. Please
What's the
stop.
point of working if
Close
you're
your
not having
eyes.
fun?
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I go with the flow. So I like this these archaic terms, but the point is this: this is all the designing. This is the videos, and this is the actual advertisement and advertisement and intent. So these are the main the message. I will take care on my own with the event location. I'm checking out these islands, Fernando di Noronha, Archipelago, there's 21 islands. So should be able to, to rent one of those. Islands. So my point is this. So we need to create a budget on this, right? Budget. This is the budget on this. And I mean, like for the budget that you create, also the thing that I want to change in the workflow is to limit the participation. It didn't work, and so I want to limit the participation to ACU clients. At least when we're talking about the practice, when we're working.
What does that mean? What does it say? Participation in ACU client sessions and my practice work. What is that?
The point is that there's all these people coming, which is my intent was to keep it open because I want as many people to come and get involved. But people are not coming because they're really interested. They're coming to log hours. So it didn't work, right? So I mean, we are where we are thanks to you, Jay. No? Let's see. Coordination was a disaster.
Yeah, so I mean, we already talked about and agreed upon, like, you know, maybe doing some SDG screening for who really cares and wants to take on, you know, specific responsibilities, right? For ACU. Like they should come for a reason like that. I mean, that's
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
I mean, the fact, stretch. The fact that people don't even bother taking notes, not even at the check-ins or checkouts, is not even bother linking the session notes into the spreadsheet, the main spreadsheet. So I want to limit the participation so that I don't know how we can do that.
Well, I would think it would just say like 3 to 5 people or whatever it's going to be, and then the SDG can screen and see who is really interested, right? And then get that verified and approved by ACU.
Yeah. So we can keep the ACU session on Friday. This is good. But now it's overlapping with the FQV portal, so I don't know.
But it's overlapping under the client
Okay.
work. We did that on purpose.
Yeah, it's okay, exactly, because it's client work, so it's fine. But the point is that how do we do that? How do we? I mean, okay. So this is the these are the points, right? So focus on the event with the new budget. We can extend. To me, we can extend anything we want. Obviously, it's for the long term, but the point is that I don't feel I have any more, which is what I wanted, right? So I don't feel I have any more. I mean, me as Ambor, I can agree to back up the costs until the cash flow is started with the sale of the tickets. So that's fine. That's first partition. But as long as the scope agreement goes, should be the ACU membership, which is you and I basically, because tomorrow the session, you're already the full member, the first full member, and tomorrow I should be the second full member. So we would have but the membership also, if you're not full member, no, you need to be a full member to make these kind of decisions. I don't remember. anyways, how do you think we should move forward?
I mean, there's a lot to discuss
For
for
$4,000, we can keep the $4,000 per month.
Time to pause. Please stop.
Maybe
Close your eyes.
instead of
Count
advance,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
could be invoiced month per month, month per month, or not really invoiced, but calculated within the actual income responsibility. Okay? That's good enough for me.
what does this mean? Calculated within the actual income and responsibility. Oh, you mean just like
Like a credit line, I can give a credit line of 4,000 per month. Instead of an advance, I will give a credit line, which the amount that needs to be actually transferred is calculated within the base pay, the upfront base pay process, payroll process, or the invoice. I don't know. I mean, it should be the invoice, but because the money should be transferred even though the actual income doesn't happen. If you're late, I don't know. I mean, I think the fact that they gave in advance didn't didn't. I mean, it had my purpose for sure, but it didn't have it had the purpose to support the overall network, the co-op, but it served the purpose to support the co-op, but it didn't really serve the purpose for people to be serious on PC. That's what I wanna try to change.
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, there is still $8,000 left in the account currently in the SVG account.
Yeah, but if we do the invoicing, those are gone for sure. The work happened. The work happened. No doubt that.
Well, if the work happened, that's certainly a good thing. But I do want to finish.
Yeah, but it happened thanks to you.
But
Which
isn't
is
that,
okay.
wasn't that what we were expecting from the very beginning?
Yeah, no, I mean, from the very beginning, I hired SDG because of you.
Yeah.
But
But in the context of making sure there's clarity on the session and moving things forward and who is where, like for me, it's just super duper important to have agreement and understanding with the people who are present on the responsibilities and what is being moved forward. So, for example, things we're talking about now is client relations.
my point is this: that
Oh.
at the ACU session in Andromeda,
Time
right,
for breath.
we had
Please
8
stop and
people.
get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
But the last ACU session, we had 6 people plus myself. We had 7 people, right? So my point is that it's of these 7 people, there was one person working. You. Nobody was even taking notes or really doing anything. Right? So my point is that these people could be working on other client work instead of coming to ACU. That's what I want to change.
Sounds good. Yeah. But I mean, overall, typically a main session is not a great place for work to happen. But I understand what you're saying. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, which is that every single present person needs to have clarity on their roles and responsibilities, right? So in this context, we're dealing with client relations. We're dealing with launch sales, and we're dealing with invoicing, right? So we have client relations, sales, and invoicing. This is what we're currently talking about. So for example, with Alex, it's like you would want to have interest in client relations, sales, and or invoicing in relationship to being here right now and being participating, right? So that's for me, always essential in any session to have clarity on exactly why someone is present and what they are engaging in for their time and their interest. So the question to you, Alex, is like, are you interested in working on client relations, on sales, on invoicing, in relationship to getting paid and working on what right now? You have the Jurison scope. You said you were interested in Jurison scope. That's part of client relations, right?
Yeah.
Jurison scope. And then we also have the ACU scope. So are these things that you are interested in continuing to work on?
Well, I'm trying to get the scope of mostly everything, but since I think there's a
We
lot.
cannot hear you, Alex. Can you speak louder, please?
Sorry, maybe my microphone. That I'm trying to go to cover all things, but well, gotta take it time by time. But invoicing looks also interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, again, what I'm looking for is a
Time
yes.
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
What I'm looking for is a yes, this is something I want to continue to work on. I want to continue to work on client relation scopes. I want to help with the sales and bringing in new clients. And I want to make sure that we are invoicing our clients so that we get paid. Otherwise, there's no reason for you to be here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand, and clearly there's a yes.
Cool.
I wanna um, commit to that.
Yes. So, I mean, the only other thing that's just like as high a level and important is our team, what do we call it? Our team income calculations. Is that what it's called? We do our team income calculations. Anyways, these are some of the 4 most important priorities and responsibilities that we have in the entire um, network, right? I mean, this is the money right here. Client relations, sales, invoicing, team income calculations. Without these 4 things, nobody gets paid. That makes sense? If people want to get paid, this is the foundation. Right?
To me,
So we need to, just to finish,
ACU,
we need to do this in ACU. In ACU, we need to have very clear, every single person who's involved needs to make it clear that they are agreeing to the responsibilities they're taking on and they're following up on them. The open session by itself is not enough. We need to spend more time getting organized. Alberto. Yeah.
exactly. I don't know how we can do that. But the point
Well, we
is,
just need to spend the time on it. Like it shouldn't be that difficult, but for me, it's just like, I have difficulty doing even just the simplest things like trying to just get the questions answered to be able to move forward with the basic concepts of like doing our practice documentation. So I mean, anyways, it's still, I mean, a couple months is still very, very early for an organization to be functional. So it takes time, you know?
Yeah, what I've seen is what you mentioned. Today's what Tuesday. That is the most difficult thing is that it's a lot of things, but most of them have. I've seen that they are. I'm not gonna say easy, but very simple.
Yes, exactly.
So
so
that
but
that's what I have been dealing with. I have to take time to at least read to know what everything is at least mentioned, so I can understand more. Sorry, you can
Yeah,
go on, Alberto.
exactly.
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
no, I mean, the point is that I personally have about $50,000 left, right? So until the sale of the mining project, right? But the sale of the mining project, we know that maybe in December we can start to see something, but it's probably going to be January, right? January. So I need to, I need to, I mean, obviously I can always fundraise more, but it's $50,000, and we have Alpha and everything. But Alpha is moving forward. It's also my mom is involved now. We will see what happens, but let's see.
Yeah. So I mean,
To me, the invoicing is important, but it's whatever. I mean, it can happen later. Whatever it happens, is that I'm willing to put all of those into we trust that for ACU, right? So, but the point is this: I want to be like what you always say, Jake. I want to make sure that the work happens. The work happens. That's the only concern. So, getting organized, like we said before, getting.
yeah.
I don't know how we can do that. This is my point. How can we do that?
How do we get organized? And I mean, it's one step at a time. Like, you know, like for me, the worst possible thing that we can do is say things over and over again, like, oh yeah, Ate has it all taken care of, and no one else needs to work on it, and Jay, you should work on it. It should just be Ate, and like that doesn't help anything. Because I heard that go on for quite a while, where it's just like, oh yeah, Ate's just going to deal with ACU. It just didn't make any sense. It didn't connect to the actual reality of what was going on, and it basically put the perspective that no one needed to really take ACU seriously, and that whatever Tay wanted to do was fine, and that we didn't need to worry about it at all, right? And you would always go off and say, oh, yeah, you got plenty of money, you'll get this and that. It put out an atmosphere and a culture that was basically like everything's perfectly fine no matter what, regardless of what's getting done. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, and you're perfectly right. I mean, the point is that the work happened, but the point is that a lot of people, the work happened, but at the expense of other work as well. Because all those people, what I want to make sure is that all those people that were coming to ACU, they don't come anymore because they were not doing nothing for ACU, and instead they use the time to do something else, to work on something else. So first things is to me is that we start to have normal BT sessions.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, that can be the
Normal
very
BT.
first topic and priority for tomorrow Andromeda Hour 1 is like who really needs to be here. Like priorities, responsibilities, roles, and who really needs to be here now, right? So it's just like that for me would be topic 1.
Yeah, exactly. Also, to me, it's concerning to see my mom prioritizing ACU.
It's concerning for what?
My mom prioritizing ACU because it's gonna come at the end of the month with a lot of hours logged for ACU and no work. Really.
Okay. Also, in relationship to ACU, we talked.
Yeah,
I mean, this is something very specific that you stated multiple times, is that you wanted every single worker to have 2 responsibilities for ACU, which is 1.5 hours per week for 2 responsibilities for 3 hours total. Remember?
okay, I said that in order to try to motivate people, but that didn't go through. So I don't know.
Yeah. So maybe we need to also review work hours tracking spreadsheets and remove ACU from people, and even go down to 1.5 hours per week, right? For some people or whatever. I don't. We really
To
just
me,
depends.
the SVG work, right, which is coordination, the invoicing, right? Okay. And that's part of 1.5 hours. But then there is the specific scope work, right? Like,
This is not SVG work coordination invoicing 1.5 hours. That doesn't make sense to me, right? It's fine.
I mean, client coordination, client relations coordination, like invoicing the client. That's part of that's 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 part of it's uh, under SVG, right? The 1.5 hours client work and everything. But then there is the specific scope work, like the documentation,
End
It's
of
4 o'clock.
break. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
the event, the event now is going to be always really good. For this specific work, I mean, I should be able maybe to do a subcontract so that I know that, okay, how much is going to be the coordination and invoicing within the budget, right? We separate the budget between the SVG overall work, which is the client relations, the invoicing, the opening of the bank accounts or the sales, right? The sales, right? That is all part 1.5. We budget that and we say, okay, that's about I don't know, $1,000. Then the other $3,000 should be allocated very specifically for like maybe some sort of subcontracting. And that's where the screening comes in, that we were talking about. Screening, subcontracting. So these $3,000, they don't follow the 1.5 hours, they follow the actual hours. You'll be working day 10 hours, and that's whenever you be working, it's 10 hours, right? So it would be something very efficient, in my view, that we could separate the budget. That I know that there is $1,000 that are going to be paid to Ate, to Joyce, to Alex for the invoicing, for the client relations and coordination. But then there's $3,000 that go to Jay because he's doing the actual work for the graphic design, or to Jay and somebody else. It's kind of
Okay, so I mean, as I always say, our only limitation is creativity. So I'm open and willing to consider all of those details. But as far as the bottom line goes, because right now we should probably move on. Get wrapped up and just move on. But for me, the bottom line is just like in the next week. My understanding in the agreement was that the agreement includes overall work and is month to month and can be stopped at any time by either party, right? But if neither party wants to stop the work, it can continue. So for me, there is no deadline of September 15th. That it's a
Time to pause. Please stop.
no deadline.
Close
No.
your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
and it clearly says in here that the management implementation timeline, the project management implementation timeline within the work scope is for the September 15th, right? But it doesn't say that the scope itself doesn't end on September 15th. It is month to month, and it can end on September 15th if ACU and Ambor wanted to end it, but it's not a require. It doesn't automatically end. Does that make sense?
No. To me, it goes on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
To
So
me,
we're on
it
the
goes
same
on,
page.
but it goes on because we're reviewing now, and we agree that it goes on. I want it to go on absolutely. I'm very satisfied with that.
Great. Okay.
Very satisfied. But I want to be sure that there is this kind of reorganization, which I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, we have some good points, right? Transforming into a normal BT session with 3 people, and maybe with the new budget, we wanna do a new budget because the work now is different. Right? We're about to finish the documentation, so we're going to do the event. Maybe we can do this kind of separation of the funds, right? So there's a part of the fund that goes to the overall SVG, under the 1.5 hours model for the invoice, the client relation coordination, the sales. Then there is the work that really matters, where most of the funds will be allocated, and those funds are going to who is doing the work. At the moment, just
Yeah, I
you.
mean, for me, that's how it should happen, regardless. Either way, like, you know, we don't even actually have to, um, you know, directly pay people for even showing up to main sessions. You know, it could be optional. No one's required to go to the main session. So, anyways, there's a bunch of different ways that we can set that up and organize that. But the bottom line is that the way I would like to see this move forward is that Friday, Saturday, Andromeda Hour 2 tomorrow is ACU open session. And then Saturday, Sunday, Andromeda Hour 2, we do ACU coordination and priority work, right?
Yeah,
So we're
maybe,
getting into the documentation of the practice. We're getting into the ACU website just immediately on Saturday. Okay, does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, but the point that
Yeah.
maybe I mix it. I would like
Time
for
for
the
breath.
ECU.
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
To be like, for example, if you come tomorrow, let's say the session tomorrow is 3 hours. I want that your 3 hours are paid in full, not 1.5 hours base pay and then the other 1.5 hours
Whose hours?
your hours.
I know, but I was saying that that's not exactly how it works. The way that it works is that SVG charges ACU for all hours, right? In relationship to client invoicing and work agreements, right? And then for the co-op, we do 1.5 hour responsibilities for the work that is done, right? Because we have to cover all of the costs of the entire network. So it's not just the work done. So we charge for all hours as SVG, but the co-op still has their 1.5 hour model and responsibility. They're totally separate things, right? So if we want to set up some sort of subcontracting work, we can do that if we want to, right? But you just need to understand, Alberto, that the primary goal is fundraising. I don't want every single dollar that we work for. It's about fundraising money, bringing money into the vortex, into the network. The money will get spent wisely, you know, in an organized way based on our budgeting system. We need to be clear and careful, and we need to be verifying that people are actually doing their 1.5 hours per responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. To me. It makes perfect sense. So I raised my concerns, and so I'm looking forward for you to tell us how we can improve that. And the only thing that I can say for sure that I know will improve is stopping this open session because it didn't work. And there is a lot of people coming.
We can also schedule the open sessions to happen once a month. They don't have to happen every week.
I don't know. I mean, we can see that. The point is that instead of having 7 people in ACU, there should be 3 people in ACU, and the other 3 are working on something else, or they're working on ACU, but they're doing actual work in another BT. This is something that I think was the only thing that I can really clearly see that we wanna.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes.
Change.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Yeah. All of that sounds great. Yeah. And the only other thing that I would say is, like, you know, $15,000, $12,000 in relationship to a, you know, project. For me, it's just like the smaller, the better. The less money, the better. The longer amount of time, the better. You know, cutting the budget, good, good, good. Like I'm all about it. If we want to stick with the $4,000 a month, I have no problem with that. but it's not necessary in relationship to the bigger picture. So if you want to go less, we can. Anyways, it's fine.
I mean, I'm like you. I'm all about putting funds into the vortex, right? So whatever. It's not those funds. I want to put them into the vortex, but at the same time, I want to have something more. I mean, the only thing that really, I think, really want to change is this open session thing that didn't work.
Okay,
People
cool.
are coming for doing nothing. That's
Yeah.
something. The only
I
thing.
mean, we don't
Rest,
need open sessions. Like the only reason you need an open session with the membership is one reason only, to make decisions. If there's no decision that needs to be made, there's no reason to have an open main session. It just doesn't. There's no need to do it.
yeah, exactly. No need to do open session.
So we could go from like weekly to twice a month, and then go towards once a month. I mean, it really depends how I want to do it. But yes, we could have, like, for example, one of the things that we do is you have ACU open sessions, and then you have ACU work uh, sessions, and this happens, this is every other week, right? So every other week you do a open work session versus a open work session versus an open main session, right? That makes sense. So it's like people coming to the open work session, we're doing work, we're in buddy teams, max buddy teams, 3-person buddy teams, and it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. The people working on our responsibility, the documentation, the people working on the invoicing, people working on the client relation. And main session, it's the membership, I don't know, once per month or once every 2 months. We can see that tomorrow, but yes, I think we're on the same page. That's important.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at least once per month at this time, because there's still some things that need to get worked out. You can also do it irregular, where basically when a decision comes up, you can do a simple, voting form and
Time to
a
stretch.
sort of
Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, Stretch. I think we're pretty good on this topic, though.
Yeah, I think we're good. I feel good.
All right. So just to spend 1 minute on a little training for the income coordination, since we're talking a little bit about it, this will be preparation coordination hours. So this is exactly the purpose of client preparation coordination hours. We just did client relations. So we would say ACU/AMBOR client relations. We did 30 minutes, Jay, and out, right?
Yes.
And then you could even say Juristen client relations, 30 minutes, Alberto and Alex. Right? That makes sense?
Yeah, perfect.
So this is exactly what client preparation coordination hours are. They're hours that we can't exactly charge as part of our actual setup training hour work for the actual project or the client work efficient hours, but they're just as important. We do need to incorporate them into our billing because they are costs that we take on behalf of the client, right? Great. So we are ready to move on.
Ready to move on. Next topic.
So I definitely am open to just going to wrap up and finishing, but I'm also down to just touch upon this new vision that I've had and I'm very excited about. So do we want to just do another topic or wrap up, or what do you want to do?
I want to hear about this new condition.
Okay, well, let's just do it really fast, really quickly. Let's set us topic 4. I'm just going to barely hint about it. This is like very, very long term, but I think very, very important. So let's do it quickly. We have 3, and let's set the clock. Alex, maybe you can help us with organizational timekeeping. Oh my God, Jennifer was the most amazing organizational timekeeping ever.
We lost.
I hope we get her back. She was
kind of quick. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she just couldn't handle it. She was a little overwhelmed. She also said she had kids, and the kids needed a bunch of stuff that she couldn't. It was just too much for her. Anyways, it happens. Okay, so We have to do this by ourselves, so we're going to do 6 to 9 minutes. So I'm going to do 9 minutes right here and go. Okay. New coalition. So as far as just like one thing on the coalition, it's basically a coalition to end.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
It's coalition to end of avoidable abuse, right? So basically, end suffering for children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So anything and everything that is abuse, suffering, all of the fear-based mongering, I can go on and on and on. It's insane what is going on in the world right now. Okay, but before I go into that, I want to tell you the why, because this is where it gets very, very exciting. Okay, so think about it like this: we have the Umbrella Showcase website is the prime trajectory, and the overall vision of the vortex is that we are transforming our society into a type 1 civilization, right?
Okay.
That is our goal. And so the general context of okay, tangent, right? Breathe. The general context of this transformation is that our current society is based on the military industrial complex. It is a fear-based system to propel commercial product-based capitalism, right? So the military industrial complex, the vision for the new societal base is and will be education, right? So the idea is to build a society and eventually civilization based on education. And that's why education is the third component to our entire model. Our model is economics, decision making, and education. Okay? 1, 2, 3. So we're on the same page so far? But the part that was missing in this new societal base of education is the essence, the experience, the connection, right? It's like education for what? Why, right? It's like why?
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
Right, and so this answers that, because the answer is the opposite, basically, of ending avoidable abuse, right? Getting rid of abuse means, for me, my favorite term of all the terms I found is joy, love, happiness. So we want to replace the military-industrial complex of fear and abuse with an educational society and civilization that is building joy, love, and happiness. That's basically the concept. And the other really important words that come up is confidence through education, and courage through education. Right? So confidence and courage bring joy, love, happiness, all of that, right? Through education. So these are just all random words that are going against the idea of fear and abuse and suffering and attacks, right? Suffering, attack, right? We want new words. We want joy, love, happiness, confidence, courage, the calmness, all of that, right? We want the opposite of the military-industrial complex. So with that said, what is so amazing about this model and the idea of building a coalition. So why build a coalition? Build a coalition for one reason and one reason only, is that we have a perfectly set up legal and justified argument to end abuse. It is legal. It is grounded in both historical and legal continuity of society. And if we do it correctly, we can basically like target every institutional corrupt system, let's put in parentheses simultaneously, because really obviously we do one at a time. But the idea is that it is a perfectly clear, established
Time to
precedent
pause. Please stop. Close
model
your eyes.
for
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
We do.
and we want to hold accountable the institutions, people, families, and organizations that are causing endless abuse, suffering, and all of the fear. It just goes on and on and on. So I mean, this coalition will basically build the biggest front to legally stop abuse that this planet has ever seen, and it's just so doable. Like it's all there. Everything is there. It needs obviously a campaign. There will be an associated campaign in relationship to obviously recognition law, because you need more than just the law. The law is on our side, but because the powers of the organizations and the institutions that have so much behind them, so many trillions of dollars to just fuel the abuse and supporting the fear-based systems that create commercial product-based capitalist, trillionaires, that is where the recognition law comes in the campaign. But I think that's minor in relationship to a campaign based on law, based on verifiable truth, is unstoppable. But the campaign does need to happen. It's just for me, it's actually a minor part, but the foundation is based on verified legal truth. And it's just beautiful. So anyways, I could go on and on forever and get more and more clarity, but that is the bottom line. There is a model that already exists for this system.
You were talking about the laws that already exist.
The laws. I'm talking about the laws. There is a set of laws that already exist across the world to address this core issue. I just realized this, and I found the context of it in the model, and it's very, very new. I think the best example of the abuse and suffering on the largest scale that we've seen would be the global abuse of children within the churches, right?
Yes.
The sexual abuse, the attacks, right? The hiding, the secrets, and you just go on and on and on. So what is so mind-boggling?
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
What is so mind-boggling about it is that this global abuse system of like the biggest religious and the oldest governments in the world that have so much power, that this is small potatoes compared to the bigger scale abuse that's going on, yet it's still massive and it's barely started. I mean, we are talking like only in the last 5 to 10 years has this even begun to be started, where they're actually uncovering and actually starting to address this on what we call a systemic scale, instead of before, which was like all these little tiny individual cases, right? So our system is still not taking this systemic abuse within the institutional framework of our society to support, basically the rich getting richer and the fear mongering and all that stuff. It's just beginning in the last 5 to 10 years, and it's just going to massively increase, and people are going to see the scale of the abuse is just going to continue to go bigger and bigger and bigger to more and more levels. And sexual abuse within the church is just simply one little minor example of the types of abuses that have been going on for centuries, that is being hidden and taken, hurting people on behalf of those in power and the billionaire and millionaire class. So it is a model, and it's barely begun. And if you look at what's going on within these existing models, and this is just one example, I found at least a half a dozen examples. First of all, they're all being fragmented into individual jurisdictions within counties, within states, within countries. So you get this massive fragmentation. Second of all, the legal framework for addressing these is insufficient. Because the legal framework, if you think about what's going on, is basically very, very simply this, right? The courts allow the judges to issue potential, awards of money to the victims in exchange for continued ability of abuse, right? That's basically what they're saying. Oh, we'll just charge you a bunch of money, and then you can continue basically to abuse, because nothing has actually changed in the bigger scheme of things. All we're seeing is people being outraged about it, but the actual accountability has not yet done anything. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
It's so new. It's so preliminary. I don't think people understand the depths of the problem, and how just the fact that people now know that these massive institutions are allowing just unfathomable amounts of abuse is just the tip of the iceberg. Because just the fact that people don't like it doesn't mean it's going away. We just don't know how bad it actually is. So after the judges issue these awards, what happens is that the institutional organizations have insurance companies that pay out from their legal insurance systems, right? Once these legal insurance systems pay out money, then basically what you end up with is that it's let's say $2 to $5 billion of award money to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of victims. $2 to $5 billion, which is basically a joke, right? $2 to $5 billion going towards hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of victims. And then this is the key to the entire model where everything falls apart, Alberto. This is where we have an opening. Mm-hmm. Is that of the $2.2 billion to $5 billion that gets awarded, of that $2 to $5 billion, basically $3 billion go to lawyers.
Yes.
$3 billion go to lawyers. Why more than half of the money goes to the lawyers? Because it's absolute chaos. The court system, the legal system, society has never seen anything like this ever in history. And it is absolute chaos. Everybody has a lawyer, hundreds of thousands of people with lawyers. Like the courts don't even know what to do with this bombardment of legal insanity. And so you just rack up these massive amounts of basically fees, and the lawyers take the vast majority of the money. And the rest of it goes to, like, who knows, taxes or something else, right? Rest of the majority go to taxes and whatever else. And then the system ensures that very little to nothing goes to the victims. And make sure we all understand here, nothing has been paid out to victims. Nothing has gone anywhere to support changing the fundamental needs of people being safe, secure, and getting the education.
End of break. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Getting the education and the joy and the happiness of living with their families.
People are destroyed.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh yeah, it's just, and it just keeps happening, and it's like, and what's so amazing about this, Alberto, is that it is 100% legal. It is 100% verifiable. It is 100% trackable. And if we set this up correctly, as like, okay, obviously first we do the launch, right, and then we put it into the pipeline. So we have this coalition building in the pipeline. But what better reason for the African Community Network to reach out across the world to build a coalition to end abuse and end avoidable abuse to basically everybody across the world, right? Everybody is getting abused by the system, and it is out of control. I don't know a single person, right? Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say, right? And maybe you can write this for me, but I literally do not know a single person in my life who has not been basically sexually abused, if not directly abused, for other, similarly related reasons, whether it's like all the bullying and all the other things, because our society is indoctrinated into the abuse and into the fear mongering that the abuse causes. And then if you think about that in context, the question is no longer truly, have you been abused? That is not the correct question. The only question in our society is, to what extent have you, as an individual, been abused by our society that supports the fear mongering to make the rich richer and more powerful, more controlled? That is the only question. It is not about whether you've been abused. You can't find people who have not been abused. They do not exist. The question is, how badly have you been abused? And that is the fundamental principle, is that everybody is an ally. Everybody is supporting each other in their horrible experiences of abuse across the planet. And that it's about coming together and supporting people in their mental difficulties related to that abuse, and then getting accountability for the abuse in a legal, verifiable, truth-based, established precedent on law, on recognition law, on campaign law, like in the courts at every level, including the public opinion, every language, every culture, all of it. So
time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So anyways, for me, that's the trajectory. You do the launch first, you build the pipeline, and then you bring at the top of the pipeline, you get the coalition, and the coalition to end avoidable abuse is the future prime trajectory of the launch.
Amazing. Amazing.
1, 2, 3.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
And it could take decades, but it doesn't matter how long it takes. All that matters is that there is no other campaign that matters more, right? Because this is everything. But it's very focused and very simple and very easy to understand, because it affects every single person at the most deepest emotional level, including the rich. Like, everybody gets abused, including the rich themselves who benefit from the abuse. So it's infinite, and it's directly personable. So I can't think of any better cause or campaign, or in this case a coalition, and I can't think of any better marketable cause or campaign in this context. And in terms of movements,
Great.
This is the foundation to the movement that can transform everything. Because it can not only jam into the existing institutional systems of the planet, but it not only has justification, it has power because the law is in its favor to actually stop the abuse. And when you stop the abuse of the existing society, you actually stop the repetition of the society itself. And I'm not even going to get into like the vision, Alberto, of the solutions. Oh my God, this is gonna blow your mind. All of it. It's just like it's all already set up. It's all already there. The whole safety security net, the entire model of everything that we're building, and everything that we're trying to co-create together, everything that we want to get rid of. The violence, the state-sponsored war, the organizational intimidation, the preventative education, the forced work labor, the sexual abuse, the reparations for slavery, the death and despair, the attacks, the violence, the social unrest, the fear mongering. I go on and on and on and on. I have lists that go forever. And then we want to change that into the safety and security for all, rights for all, healthcare for all, education for all, financial solvency for all, empowerment and decision-making for all, environment for all. It is a done deal, Alberto.
They let us.
No, they don't need to let us do anything. It's not even about us.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
All I can say, it's already happened. The model is there. Every single time you go to court and you go to the powers in the systems that are there, you win. When you show the abuse, you win. You win to the level that we want? No, but the law is on the side of it's a done deal.
But we need to show that everybody's abused.
That's easy.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know anyone who hasn't been abused. So the question is not about have you been abused? The question is to what extent have you been abused? So all we need to show is what are the percentage of people that have had extensive abuse beyond the context of what is basically survivable for the core fundamental principle of unity theory.
Wow, amazing.
And the declaration of consciousness, right? When everybody has a right to their conscious journey. So the question is very simple. Have you had abuse that goes to the level of inflicting damage on your ability to live and experience your right of a conscious journey? That is the fundamental question.
But that comes in a second. What you're talking about is to make it recognized through the collision that everybody's abused, end of story. So
well, we already know that. That's not something that needs to be recognized. That is just a fact.
Yeah, well, we know it, but it's not recognized that is like that, right? So,
but that's what the campaign is for. The campaign can build that recognition because it's
the recognition. We want to build the recognition.
Yeah. The biggest problem to understanding abuse is that people are afraid. So the vast majority of people, especially men, do not want to ever say that they've been abused, because then they feel like they'll be looked down upon, right?
Yeah, but everyone says agrees that they've been abused because the society is just built to abuse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can also ask a question: is do you feel comfortable sharing your abuse?
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So really, it really doesn't matter. Abuse. Do you feel comfortable sharing your experience of abuse or abusing or experiencing others being abused? That's really what it comes down to. You either witnessed abuse, you caused abuse, or you experienced abuse yourself, right? So those are the three options. And then the answer here, when someone says no, they are not comfortable sharing, then you can remove them from the statistic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So no one has to share, but if you don't share, you just say that you don't share, and then everybody who does share, you can see what percentage of people have been abused, and more importantly, to what extent that abuse has occurred. Does it meet the line where basically that person's ability to live their life has been substantially affected by a major trauma, right? And the most important thing of all in relationship to the old generations versus the new generations, and this is where all of these new campaigns, the bullying thing, all of it, the coalition that we can build on this is infinitely vast. There are so many organizations working on this. So the new generation says this, or the old generations, I'll go do that one first. The old generation says like, oh, you can't stop that, it just happens, there is no way to do blah, 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 right?
Yes.
It's just like, oh, that's just what happens, oh, there's nothing you can do about it. The new generation is like, no, it has been scientifically proven that there are techniques and models for documenting and preventing abuse at its source, period. Right? It's just that simple. There are scientifically proven techniques for documenting and ensuring that you are minimizing abuse through recorded, documented, evidence-based, systematic implementation of procedure. It is not difficult, and there is scientific evidence that it works, period. So the old generation has no way to question it because the science, the rhetoric, the systematic model.
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
And they work every time. And then they hold up in a court of law, and that all the institutions and all the old generation people are like, oh, well, I didn't know, and oh, we created endless different secret systems to not have to think about it. They lose every time.
Yes, Steve. Yes. Put it in the pipeline. Let's make it real.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about this because I've always been a big supportive fan of like, okay, we have all of the models, we have all these possible solutions. We just need to see what's going to work. We just have to figure out, and just, basically fundraise money and get people excited about what we're doing, and maybe one day it'll help, right? This is we already know it works. It's already proven to work. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in society every single day. The momentum is behind it. People are outraged, and there's no, you don't really have to sell it. Everybody already knows it. And beyond that, it's like it's implementable, and you don't even have to raise money. Like, you don't literally need to raise money to make it happen because it's already happening. It's just not happening at the scale that's needed because people don't understand that. People are just thinking about little things here and there. They're not thinking about the fundamental. They still think that it's, oh, someone's at fault. Oh, like this organization is the problem. It's like, no, actually, it's the society and the fundamental root institutionalized fear mongering and war system that is actually the root problem to all of it. And so the legal framework for this is just unstoppable. And that makes it a completely nonviolent, global, completely transformative revolution that can, it doesn't even have to take out anything. It's just transformative. You just rework the existing systems based on one single individual principle. It's so simple. And minimizing abuse. Really minimizing abuse. Go, Alberto. You can go.
I mean, here it may have found that thing that can unite everybody and transform society.
Exactly.
Understand that it's not about the people, it's about the society itself, that the abuse is
Yes.
embedded in society. Everybody, when
Yeah.
it's 100% that you're gonna go through abuse in your life because society is
100%.
built like that.
Because that's how society is built. And
Yeah.
it's built like that purposely for the benefit of very few people.
Time
Yeah,
to pause. Please stop.
And
Close your eyes.
maybe how it works.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Amazing.
Open your eyes.
So
And not only do they need to be held accountable, we can hold them accountable because the law works on the side of this every single time. Right? The campaign is less about getting the laws. The laws already exist. The campaign is about the law of public opinion. It's about the actual transformation of the institutions themselves to solve the problem. The law is on our side. So the minimizing abuse, you could call it you have this scientific method, you have the Uniscience method, right? This is basically the ending abuse method, right? The minimizing abuse is so simple. It's a very simple method. All you do is you document the abuse, then you address, plan, implement, repeat. That's it, and it works every single time, right? And you just plan and you implement the models of uh, checks, balances, prevention and understanding, education. It's just every single time it works. Does it work perfectly? No. It minimizes abuse, and if you just continue and do this repetitive cycle over and over and over again, you get better and better and better at weeding out the abuse, and then it gets better and better and better at transforming the society. To go from an abuse and fear-mongered society to a society based on education and love, happiness, joy,
God will.
confidence. Yeah.
If they don't kill each other, if they don't kill us all before.
I mean, it's like, let them. Like, if they want to try to go hurt more people, then people will get even more outraged. And that's what's so beautiful about this model is that if you go to violence with this model, you're abusing. So everybody involved in the movement, in the coalition,
Talking about World War III.
cannot be violent because that would be abusing other people. And then secondly, any violence depicted onto the movement would just magnify and make it go even faster because people would be outraged.
No, I agree with you. The point is that World War III, if we can avoid World War III, because that's.
I believe this could be the ticket. Like, because before, it's like, say.
No, I agree with you.
But before, as I've always said, it's like the mission of the Uni Network is to unite all people in social movements for total societal transformation at every level, right? But how? For what?
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
Yes.
This is the essence of the vortex. This is the prime trajectory. This is why we unite. This is what unites us. This is the mechanic of the uniting, right? So I'm just like blown away, super excited, super duper. Like the fact that this all clicked together, it's just like jaw dropping, mind blowing. Like, and I mean, I've been seeing it for years and years and years, but now it just clicked. It just clicked, and it's just like, wow. And the main thing that made it click for me is that the church, like, this church stuff only came out around like 5-10 years ago, got serious. And even before that, it was just started percolating, and it was massive. It's like, oh my God, everyone knew, of course, everyone knows the churches are abusing everybody and all the child molestation and all of it. I mean, it's like, of course, it's like not even surprising. But then you look at the scale and you're like, oh my God, right? And then you realize that is actually nothing compared to the even bigger institutions of abuse that are going on. And that's what blew my mind, is realizing that what's been happening in the church is actually in many ways minor compared to other organizational institutions. And that's where my mind was blown. And I sat there yesterday and being like, okay, how do you solve this problem? And boom, this whole vision came to me, and it's just like done. So
Let's do it. Let's do
yeah,
it. Let's do
we're
it.
doing it. It's happening.
Yeah.
And for me, this is the collaboration. This is the partnership. This is where we unite in relationship to ending suffering of children with this ending abuse. And for me, this is the 5th mission.
Oh, yes.
So this will become the 5th mission of the Vortex. So if we look at the missions, you have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first mission is
The unity.
the unity. The second mission is sponsorship. The third mission is FQV. The fourth mission is the co-op, and the fifth mission is basically ending abuse. I would call it the coalition. It's the I mean, this is the coalition of all coalitions to end the need of coalitions, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, what other coalition do you need besides the coalition to end all avoidable abuse? Like, is there anything that doesn't cover in relationship to social movements? I can't think of anything, because it relates to all rights of any and every single. Like, it needs to be beyond humans. It needs to go to all plants, all animals, all ecosystems, all societies, all cultures.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So the coalition this is it. I've been wanting to build a coalition for so long, and this is like the coalition of all coalitions. Let's do a quick Google search. Nothing. So there's a million organizations related to violence and abuse and sexual violence, domestic violence, but nothing related to what we're talking about, which is a much bigger level. So anyways, I'm very excited. I'm glad we took a little time to kind of present that as a concept. Yes. And so this is, I mean, I think we can get there sooner than later. We just need to get through the launch. We need to get stable with our models. We can move into the fundraising. And then from there, we can build the pipeline, build the co-op, build the coalition, move it all forward. I mean, I would say within 6 months, the coalition could be live.
We need to include it somewhere. Where do you want to include it? In the pipeline.
It's in the pipeline, yes.
We need to include it in the pipeline.
Yeah, so it just, for me, we would vote and make a proposal to include it as one of the most important parts of the pipeline, possibly under the co-op. I don't know if it comes before or after co-op. I think that we will be much more successful in launching the coalition if the co-op is stabilized first. So I wouldn't mind it coming after the co-op. So, and then the umbrella campaign will be essential as well. So I think, like, the pipeline is the perfect place for it. We will get to the coalition when it's ready to be gotten to. But what's important to recognize is that all of the other missions and the entirety of the Vortex, ACU, SVG, everything works towards the coalition already. We don't need the coalition to continue doing what we're doing. Does that make sense?
But it's time to yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
the coalition is just like,
we need to now recognize it as we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that it already exists. The Vortex already exists. The coalition already exists. It's inevitable. We've been doing it for a long time. We just didn't know what it was or what it called or why it was this. And now we know. And we can see the legal framework. We can see the whole legal trajectory. I mean, for me, the vision, like, I just talked for like 5-10 minutes here. But the
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
Screw that. The vision could be like 5 books. It's just, there's volumes and volumes of books of this vision in how it can evolve the whole of society. Like, it's like, I've never seen something so indefinitely, undisputably powerful in terms of its ability to build, like, I mean, this is happening. I don't see any way it's not going to happen. The only question is the scale of what happens. What's happening right now is just a bunch of like little dispersed, interconnected, fragmented things in a bunch of different countries. No one really understands what's happening. They're all just like, oh yeah, the churches suck. Oh, the church has been abusing people. Oh, people are getting sexually abused. Oh, this is just, and the other people are like, oh, this is just how society is. Yeah, they'll get their payouts, but whatever, right? But I think what people don't understand is when they actually see the numbers, when they actually see the scale, and they actually get the data, and they actually see how powerful the laws are in favor of this, and then you look at the campaigns, the polling, and you look at the next generation, generation X, Y, Z, and beyond, people will not be okay with this. This is a uniting cause, right? Especially with newer generations, with Facebook and Google and all of the social media, where everything is escalated 100 times, right? Everyone's personal data is online their entire lives, and it's just ripe for abuse, and it's just so easy for people to get mentally overwhelmed and stagnated, and just in relationship to their societal roles with the whole new model. So I would say that the people who are most supportive of this coalition and this cause are younger people, which means that it's basically like as time goes on, the movement just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Because this society is not built for young people, if you know what I mean.
Society is just upside down.
Yeah, the society is built specifically
it's not built for people. It's not built for people at all.
Exactly. It's built for institutional monsters that want to abuse and destroy, and that very few, very old, rich, white, primarily men control.
Ticket. This is the ticket.
That is what our society is built.
Unity.
Yeah.
Included in the section, the Umbrella Showcase website launch project.
You included the coalition as a
these notes. I index these notes, and then I copy and paste this
cool.
Fifth mission.
Yeah, this is big.
Yes,
big.
Very big.
And again, I could go on volumes and volumes and volumes. We want to document the mission. We want to document the vision. We want to get the purpose organized. I mean, the entire pipeline on the coalition. We want to start, with the websites and reaching out and fundraising. I mean, this is huge. Like, I mean, I talk about a couple hundred people, a couple thousand people. This is millions of people, thousands and thousands of organizations within months, easily able to connect to on this. This is massive.
It's all about the launch. It's all about the launch.
Yeah, all about
we need to launch so that then we can reach out for this ticket.
Yeah, there's no, I can't think of any bigger issue, and I can't think of any issue in anything that relates to a potential social movement that can transform the fundamental underlying infrastructure of every single institution, every single organization, every single basically individual involved in power, right? Every single corruptible system, nothing can hide away from this, because it's the foundation as strong as science itself, right? We need a good name for it, but it's like the cycle of abuse is completely controllable, right? Through the method, like the end abuse method or whatever it's called. It's so simple, it's so easy, and it's implementable at such a minute level that you can implement it into every single organization, every single group, every single corporation, every single institution. And not only that, you can legally force every single institution to do it already. No single institution in the entirety of the world can prevent this from happening. It's done already. Mm-hmm. Every single institution is required already to implement a preventative abuse method. And it just hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't happened yet. And it's already happening. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So it's
We're
very,
coming.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, this is 1 day old, but I wanted to like get it documented and get it out there and just start thinking about it. So everything could change in 6 months. You know, the other movements could come afoot. Other things could be, you know, change our understanding of this, or this could evolve to something even bigger that we didn't even think about. So, you know, it's still very, very preliminary, but my initial reaction is just jaw dropping
Mhm.
in terms of like an actual
I'm feeling easy.
work.
I feel easy.
Yeah.
So big.
End
It's
of
four
break.
It's so
o'clock.
Time
doable,
to
as you're
start.
saying. Right?
Please get
Big, but
focused
so
on the
doable that
session.
Yeah.
makes
And
me
it's
wanna,
already happening. It's
makes
been
me wanna
happening
stop
for,
and concentrate. Just focus on this.
yeah, just focus on this. I mean, there's this, it's so easy to understand. It's so easy to grasp. The law already exists in its favor. And on top of that, it's already been happening for 10 years. Everybody knows what it is. And everybody's already implementing it to all the organizations. It just needs to continue and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and basically connect on much bigger levels for, and go beyond humans and go beyond just the suffering of individuals to the suffering of groups of people to the suffering of society itself that it causes, and the suffering of humans onto other populations in the planet, ecosystems and animals and all of that as well. So that, for me, that's a very minor connection, because abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter whether you're abusing animals or you're abusing humans or you're abusing ecosystems, or you're basically, it's just all greed for just attacking and killing billions of organisms for the sake of making money. I don't care. Abuse is abuse. No one can argue it. You know,
Yes, absolutely.
everybody knows what abuse is,
Because
and they can
they
see
just
it.
cover it. They just cover it under
Yeah,
business models.
it's just a business model, and what's so cool
Cover,
about it is that,
cover it. Cover it.
yeah, they just cover it and secretize it, and
They
they hide
must.
all the
Yeah, they
documentation.
must. I mean, a cow is a cow in a farm, and then when it goes into the massive exploitations and meat producing companies is a commodity. So they mask it. They transform. They transform living feeling earthlings into something inanimate, right? It's into an object. Transforming it into an object. So it masks. It's not abuse. It's abuse. You're abusing earthly.
Exactly. So, anyways, I
I'm
will
very
talk
glad that you clicked. I'm very glad that you clicked.
that I what?
That you clicked. clicked.
What do you mean that I clicked?
That you
Oh,
clicked.
that this
That
clicked.
everything got together. That you clicked.
Yes. Yeah, this is inevitable. It's
Great.
and I want to go more into all the documentation, the information, the other existing thing. There's so much. It's like there's just, it's endless, Alberto, endless. I mean, we talk about the movements for anti-corruption, the movements for, you know, the environment, sustainability, and the movements for rights, and the movements for, you know, Black people and people
Movement to
of
end
color.
all abuse.
All of these
Time
things,
to pause.
they're
Please
all
stop.
forms of abuse.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2,
Movement to end
3,
all abuse.
4, 5. Open your eyes.
Let's go big or let's go home, Jay.
What?
Let's go big or let's go home.
Exactly.
Anti-corruption movement to end all abuse is
Yeah.
applicable to everything.
Yes. It's applicable to everything. And you know, but it's but who would ever think that like the sexual abuse in relationship to the church is the thing? You know, because everybody knows about it, and of course I knew about it, but I didn't think about it in a movement. I think about it, okay, people in the streets being like, you know, we have been sexually abused. We have been, you know, stop the church from abusing. Like it's like you don't think about it like that, right? Because you don't really see it. It's in the courts. The movement is in the courts, not the streets. And that's what we want to change. We want to get the movement out of the court. Well, we want to continue the movements to go through the courts and get bigger and bigger and bigger in the courts, higher levels. We want this movement in the streets as well as in the courts. That's what we want. And we want to connect it bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we want to make it very I don't even want to get into that yet. There's a whole nother component of this, which basically goes into the value of transforming a society from one of based on military fear-mongered attacking and abuse to one based on education, joy, love, happiness, and confidence. The value of that is immeasurable. And when we talk about the billions and billions of dollars and more than half of the money going to the lawyers right now, we are talking about a lot of value in this movement. Okay. So anyways, I don't even want to touch upon, I don't even want to get into that, but I just touched upon it just slightly. We didn't even get into that yet, but I can't even get into like how big this is at every level. Yes. Okay. Alex, any questions? Anything else from you?
Alex, he left us.
Oh, he left a while ago. Okay.
Yeah, because he had a problem with the
internet?
Yeah, because of the
Their power outage. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, anyways, I'm just so excited, Alberto. I feel like one of the final puzzle pieces has come together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. One at a time.
Time for breath.
The
Please
one
stop
is-
and get
is
ready.
everything.
Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
One at a time.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you
Okay.
so much.